Well, the Army private accused of leaking hundreds of thousands of secret military documents appeared in court this morning. Prosecutors today said Bradley Manning aided al-Qaeda by leaking the documents to the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks. Manning now faces a slew of charges, including aiding the enemy. But that enemy was not named until today's hearing. And as court sessions are underway, some doubt the alleged whistleblower stands a chance at a fair trial, and some say he was already punished and tortured while he was locked up for over a year awaiting his day in court. So in such a high-profile government case, is a fair trial in a military court even possible for Manning? Well, to discuss this and more, Kevin Gosztola, blogger for dissenter.firedoglake.com, joins us now. Welcome to the show, Kevin. So just a reaction, the newest development today is that the prosecution said for the first time that Manning aided the terrorist group al-Qaeda by releasing those documents. Your reaction to that?
Right. Yeah, they submitted a motion which is called a Bill of Particulars, and they were able to get this specific information that it was al-Qaeda, AQAP, and these are the groups that he's accused of aiding. And this was largely suspected because this came out in the Article 32 hearing. At least they showed an al-Qaeda propaganda video during the Article 32 hearing. So it's not surprising, but it reaffirms people's concerns about what is the extent of this charge. It's pretty severe, and they're basically accusing him of aiding terrorists, and that sort of makes him out to be like a terrorist sympathizer. I just don't know if that's really what Bradley Manning was all about when he committed these alleged crimes.
And so al-Qaeda, now that they have been identified, did that surprise you, the fact that he has been charged with helping a group like al-Qaeda?
I think it just shows you how far the government is willing to go in this case to possibly make an example out of Manning and make sure that no soldiers in the military do this again with any classified information.
And, you know, recently, a United Nations official investigated this case, and the findings from that investigation was that they found that there was cruel, inhumane treatment used against Manning. They called out the U.S. for holding Manning in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day for a period of, he's been locked up for longer than a year. So, I mean, do you think that Manning, based on this, has already been punished severely for a crime that he has not even been, you know, he hasn't even been on trial for it yet?
Yeah, I think that the defense definitely will try to get some time served when the sentencing does happen. But, you know, the other thing is that today during the hearing, they're trying to get disclosed the Quantico video. I don't know what that video is specifically, but I can only presume that it might show when he was strip searched. And, you know, there was a period of time when he was not allowed to have any clothing. He was totally naked in his cell for a few days because of something he had done. He was sarcastic towards an officer in the brig. And the defense definitely does intend to use the way he was treated to make it harder for the government to prosecute Manning.
And some say that this treatment, the way that Manning has been treated so far, is that he is being equated and treated like a terrorist. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, he's being treated worse than a terror suspect because the media is not actually allowed to have access to records during the military's court proceedings. But if you were at Guantanamo, you would be able to access records during a military commission. So you have this media coalition now that is actually challenging this because we don't get to know the sort of things that are going on. We don't get to read the motions that are being filed. We don't get to read a lot of the documents, and we don't know what's going on in this back room. They have secret conferences, and we just take their word for it when they do synopses and give summaries inside the courtroom.
And yeah, going along with that, there's been a lot of talk that there has been an effort to control the media in this trial and the type of information that the media has access to. Would you say that it's hard for the media to accurately cover this case?
I just think it's very suspect because you find yourself wondering if you're missing key details. Because later on, you know, you'll have these instances where the government will come out all of the blue and say, we handed this information over. They just got the CD last night at 7:30. But, you know, there's probably a whole saga going on behind the scenes, and we don't know about it. Should we know about it before? Probably it would be helpful to get information to people like the public who should know what's going on with this trial. It's very high profile and significant.
And now you said that there has been a lot of documents that media cannot get a hold of. Do you think that there is an effort to suppress these kinds of documents to keep this information out of the public realm?
I mean, it's definitely suspicious, because if you can access these same sort of documents in a trial for a Guantanamo detainee, you should be able to access those documents if you're a member of the media and you are, looking into a soldier. You're covering the case of an American soldier, and you're not able to access the same documents. That just doesn't make any sense.
Now, he is being called by his critics a threat to national security. Yes or no? What do you think about that?
But personally, I don't think he's a threat. I don't know what conclusions they're drawing that from, especially when you look at him. He doesn't look like the sort of person who could pose such a threat. But I understand that he released, or is alleged to have released, almost 500,000 documents. Certainly, it was very embarrassing for the U.S. government. So I guess that alone might make him a national security threat.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you for keeping us updated, and we will continue to keep our viewers updated on this very important case. That was Kevin Gosztola, blogger for Dissenter.firedoglake.com.